And we have Joe Steer, who is our incumbent mayor. And I'm going to let them, I'm going to hand the mic over to them. They each get to do about a 3 to 5 minute elevator speech, so we're going to all get our time. And then we've got questions. Out of fairness and complete transparency, all the candidates have received the agenda, and they already know the questions, so they are prepared and ready. And I set them up so they are in chronological order. You ready? We're going to go backward. Okay? All right?
All right. Nice to meet everybody. My name is Mayoral. I'm not a politician. I'm a Kuna resident, an involved parent, and a proud business owner. I'm running for mayor of Kuna to restore the importance and power of people's voices, allowing them to have greater influence on our town and dictate how it grows and develops over the years. As a local resident, I've actively engaged in numerous community initiatives, and I can't stand back and watch our unique culture disappear to the economic growth that we've witnessed. While we can't halt growth, we must prioritize the protection and well-being of our community as a whole, including our students, our businesses, and our cherished small town atmosphere. This can be achieved through strict adherence to our comprehensive plan, partnerships with community stakeholders, and addressing the current needs and deficiencies within our community without yielding to developers who often disregard Kuna's well-being for the sake of increased profitability. We do not owe our loyalty to developers, and they shouldn't dictate how our community evolves. All too often, they propose projects that deviate from our comprehensive plan, leaving us, the citizens, to cope with the increased traffic, the absence of desirable new businesses, overcrowded schools, and a town that has started to feel disorganized in its layout and planning. My loyalty lies with the people of Kuna, and I strongly believe that transparency, communication, and accountability from our leaders are essential. To achieve our vision, we must forge stronger partnerships with organizations that share common stakes in our community's well-being, listen to the community when they voice their concerns, and support responsible growth initiatives. Strong leadership within City Hall is an absolute necessity. We need a mayor that can unite our community leaders, empowering them to make ethical decisions, while knowing that their mayor has the best interests of the community at heart. If we continue to vote for the same leadership, we will continue to be disappointed as Kuna residents who feel disregarded. As a loyal resident of Kuna and an active community member, I am confident that my background, experiences, and dedication to serving the community have demonstrated that my reasons for running for mayor are genuine. I firmly believe that my skill set and my desire to serve Kuna position me as the ideal candidate to lead Kuna through this critical phase of responsibly and transparently managing our growth.
All right, thank you everybody for coming out tonight. Thank you, Teresa, for putting this together, and everybody else that had a hand in that. I appreciate it very much. I love Kuna. I grew up here. I raised my family here. I became a business owner at the age of 19. That business lasted me almost 40 years and is under a new owner and still operating. I joined the fire department and did that for 17 years until I was injured in a fire when the building collapsed. Then I became a fire commissioner and did that for 18 years. That was my intro into politics. Because I was so active in that role, I was chairman for 17 of those 18 years. I ran for city council to help resolve the issues that were created when a local improvement district was formed to build a wastewater treatment plant. We were able to resolve the immediate issue of that, but a lot of land had been annexed, and because they built a very expensive treatment plant, a lot of entitlements came with that land. That's what we've been dealing with for the last few years. When I took office as mayor, I saw that developers kind of had to run a city hall. And that wasn't the fault of Mayor Nelson. He was a part-time mayor and he didn't see all that stuff that was happening. Developers would come into City Hall without an appointment, go behind the counter, and talk to whomever they wanted. They even had access to the city attorney. Well, I put a stop to that. I tightened up our pre-application process to where they had to come in with an actual plan and present it to all the interested agencies at one time. So fire, police, Ada County Highway District, Irrigation District, and all of those. Well, they weren't happy about that, but the other way was totally inappropriate. Now, there is no funding source for expansion of water, wastewater, or pressurized irrigation. So developers have to fund that themselves. Whether that be water lines and wells, wastewater lines, or lift stations, irrigation ponds, pumps, or pipes. So when you hear that we are unable to serve a development, it simply means that developers have to fund that expansion. We are at less than half capacity at the North Wastewater Treatment Plant and finishing up with a well number 12 right now. Commercial development has kept pace with residential development, but we're just stuck in that 90% residential tax burden and 10% commercial, year after year.
2 minutes.
And because commercial development is so reliant on residential development, to expand that infrastructure, I could see that we weren't likely to get better without changing direction. So we started looking at the industrial zone to help out. Our first taker was a family-owned and operated business, Trim Joist. Great people and a welcome start. But we still didn't have much to offer. Now with Meta building a wastewater treatment facility, that all changes. So since I've been here, we've added economic development, made modifications to all departments, and the city of Kuna had burned many bridges with neighboring cities, entities, and organizations. I worked diligently to rebuild those relationships, and now we are respected and our input is valued. There's always more to do, and I hope that you will allow me to continue that work. How much time did I have?
10 seconds.
10 seconds.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kristen Sandu, and I made my way from Las Vegas to Idaho in 2020 and settled in Kuna 2 years ago. I am aware that some of you may be questioning my relatively short time here, and I completely understand that. I've come to realize that no matter where you hail from this vast country, what truly matters is a person's integrity, morals, principles, and honesty. The state or city someone originates from should not be our primary concern. Because even if someone comes from a different state, if they embrace our values, they actively support our community, and genuinely appreciate what Kuna has to offer while actively working to preserve it, we should extend them a warm welcome. So tonight, I urge you not to judge me based on my origin. Instead, judge me for who I am today: a husband, a father, and a dedicated member of the Kuna community. Assess me based on my integrity, my honesty, the principles and the morals that lead the way I live. Judge me for my deep love for patriotism and my profound devotion for this great nation. Transparency holds a significant value for me. It is not just a vague word that politicians use so often to gain attention and votes. Which is why I can stand before you tonight and declare that I have never restricted or blocked anyone from expressing their opinions on any of my platforms. This sets me apart from some other candidates here tonight, who only allow positive comments and censor criticism. If they censor criticism as a candidate, imagine what they will do if elected. In my view, if you are seeking public office, you should be accessible to the public and open to all types of comments, whether they're positive or negative. As a leader, it is your duty to hear all the voices within our community and embrace a wide range of opinions and criticism. I am deeply convinced that change is necessary. Time is of the essence. As the longer we delay, the further our beautiful town slips away from us. If we don't act now, we risk losing this great city to the hands of profit-driven developers who have no concern for our community. They will continue to expand the city and deplete our resources without a care in the world for our people, our values, and our well-being.
2 minutes.
When you head to the polls on November 7th, consider this. If you're happy with the way the last 8 years have unfolded, then you already know where your vote should go. However, if you're dissatisfied with the direction our city has taken in that time, there are alternative choices. I prioritize transparency, honesty, and most important, my authentic value. I won't create a different person or compromise my true self for the sake of gathering votes. I am who I am. And I promise that if I get elected, I will ensure that the people's priorities will always come first. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Instead of taking a lot of audience questions, like not, we've kind of, I've asked audience members, I actually went out and Darnot and invited people personally to come to this event, and when I was doing that, I asked, what are some questions that you want of our candidates? So I'm going to give the microphone to them, but the first question you're each going to answer is I want you to explain your qualifications as mayor. And then next question is to describe how you solve problems, and then describe your leadership style and your experiences. Okay? Qualifications.
So when I look at the role of the city structure, I believe it should be managed with a business-like approach, where the mayor acts as CEO, and every resident, whether they work or live in our community, is regarded as the city's customer. The mayor's primary responsibility is to ensure that the services provided to the residents consistently meets or exceeds expectations. My educational background is rooted in business and leadership. I hold a bachelor's degree in applied management and a master's degree in business administration. Through my education and experiences, I have developed a deep understanding of the intricacies of business, leadership, and organizations on both micro and macro levels. I intend to bring my 12 years of experience in management and leadership, along with my 4 years as a local small business owner, to guarantee the delivery of top-notch services to Kuna's residents. Throughout my professional career, I've effectively managed teams in multi-million-dollar territories, fostered cross-departmental collaborations that benefited our customers, and worked with stakeholders at every level, including negotiating contracts at the executive level, working closely with C-suite representatives from both large and small hospital systems across multiple states. As a leader, I've been dedicated to developing my employees, enhancing their knowledge and capabilities, leading to increased productivity, promotion opportunities, and job satisfaction, and ultimately better interactions and outcomes for customers. As the current president of the Kuna Chamber of Commerce and an active volunteer in Kuna, I have cultivated numerous relationships within the community that offer valuable insights and partnerships. Serving in these roles has emphasized the importance of strong partnerships and community involvement, highlighting the impact that individuals can and should have in Kuna.
Well, when I became a fire commissioner, I joined the Idaho State Fire Commissioner Association and became very active in that organization. I received training on the fire code, state code, district code, and budget, and became active in the legislative committee and eventually the president of that association. As a city council member, I joined the Association of Idaho Cities and again became very active in that role. I received training on city code, state code, land use, and budget. And then as a mayor, the same as the above, and eventually president of the Idaho State Association of Idaho Cities Association, and am actually still very active in their legislative committee.
So, regardless of the fact that I grew up in Vegas, I actually grew up on a farm in Moldova, the country I was originally born in. Being on a farmland, I understand the small-time community. I understand what it means to be a farming community because I've had that experience early in my life. When I came to the United States, my family didn't have a dime. My dad was a circus performer, and I followed in his footsteps. Very quickly, I became one of the most recognized performer in the world, traveling all across the globe and in every state in America. Having that exposure showed me the flaws in other countries and the flaws in other states that made me appreciate Idaho as it is. Once I finished my career as a performer, I became an entertainment producer. And this is a very important skill that I retained because I learned how to work with budgets. When you operate a city, it's not a cash flow based operation. It is a budget based operation. And working with multi-million-dollar projects and being able to expand upon that and equally divide different departments and have a great performance at the end of the budget without going above our budget was a significant lesson that I learned. When COVID hit, the entertainment industry died off, and I migrated into the trucking industry, which is a vital industry to our economy. It is a supply chain of everything in America. For those of you who understand logistics, you understand that it's one of the most difficult operating business because you deal with federal regulation, high turnaround with employees, accidents, claims, high insurance rates, and pretty much everything in between. That also taught me how to operate with a cash flow business module. And being in the trucking industry, waking up at 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. and whatever time I get a phone call because someone's on the side of the road because the truck broke down, or there's an accident, or there's a federal violation, I had to attend to that immediately. And that gave me a form of leadership and a form of business-oriented mindset that not a lot of people can handle. As I like to say, he gave me thick skin. And I think being mayor of this great city, we're going to have to face developers. And I think it's important that we have that thick skin when it comes to dealing with developers and other enemies who want to take advantage of our town, our beautiful land, and our community.
So Chris, while you got it. So Chris, going to question 2, how do you solve problems?
I don't think there's a specific way to solving problems. Because if you have one way of solving problems, then you're going to fail at solving other problems. And I think that's very important. I think anyone who's going to say a specific way of solving problems, they're lying. You develop a solution based on the problem that you're given. And that goes down to my experience as a history major in college, actually. I have a degree in history. And when you're learning history, you're learning the solutions and the problems throughout history. And I think that's very important, and I think that's a very good asset that I've gained throughout my college career. Because it taught me how to find solutions to problems and how to tailor to those particular solutions in a way that extends my current comprehension. So to answer that question, it's simple. When the problem is going to present itself, the solution is going to be available simply by utilizing the skills I've gained in my life. Here's a simple example. Lee Country Subdivision was a recent plot of land that City Council denied. The city posted very vague notices in the city. A billboard on the side of the road that you can barely see, a small little flyer in some neighborhoods, and maybe someone reposted that flyer on social media. That didn't get a lot of attention. And I knew that that's an issue with transparency. So what did I do? I went to the planning and zoning department, and I had them exactly to show me how to dig through the complicated tabs and find exactly the information I needed to see the full project. So what I did was, I screenshotted a glimpse of that project and showed the people in Kuna that there's a lot more than just a billboard on the side of the road. The outcome of that was that we had, from what I've heard, one of the largest turnouts in City Council. Also, what I've been noticing since then is that our own elected officials have been more transparent in posting what's happening within our community. And I think that was a solution to a problem that I was successfully able to achieve with the help of the community and everyone else who showed up that night at the city council meeting.
Solving problems, that's a new one. That's
How do you solve a problem?
All right, that's cool. Well, with city government, solving problems, we have a lot of subjects that we work with, whether it's planning and zoning, or water or wastewater, or pressurized irrigation, or whatever the case may be. And most of the time, whenever we have any kind of problems, we can work through them pretty quickly. Actually, I received an email today from my public works director that there was a spill from our back truck, and it was a minor spill, but they still followed all the procedures and did the cleanup like they should, and the Department of Environmental Quality was very happy with that. So a lot of those things are handled at that level. When they get more complicated, I have a whole staff that has a lot of experience and expertise in different areas, and we get together and we work through the issues and we figure out a good fix for the problem. Other than that, it's just making the connections with the right people to make sure that the questions are answered.
I like that answer. Let's use the people around you. So when I encounter a problem, my approach centers on thorough research and collaboration. When I first discover a problem, my goal is to gain a strong understanding of the problem's causes, effects, and potential solutions. Once I feel that I have an understanding of the issue, I shift my focus to identifying the most effective solutions, although if you ask my wife, I don't always need to solve a problem, sometimes I just need to listen. If she's not mad. Throughout this process, I also actively seek advice and guidance from individuals with expertise in specific areas. I firmly believe that no one can be an expert in all matters, so it's crucial to surround yourself with knowledgeable partners to address complex problems. While there are many potential solutions for every problem, an individual person may overlook potential unwanted outcomes as a result. This is why I believe it's important to discuss issues thoroughly to arrive at a well-thought-out and ideal plan for solving them. As mayor, I would apply the same process to research and identify issues, collaborating with trustworthy stakeholders who are concerned with community's well-being rather than individual or special interests.
Awesome. Great. They're doing awesome, aren't they? Yeah. All right. Last question, and I'm going to wrap you guys up a little bit so that you have quicker answers. So maybe a 1 minute. Stay reasonable. Leadership, style, and experience.
So true or false?
No, and there's no multiple choice either.
Give Joe a chance to go first.
If Joe wants to go first, sure.
Sure. Leadership.
Be the leader. Take that
All
mic.
right. Well, leadership in government has different looks depending on who you're working with. With city staff, it's teamwork. We collaborate and draw from everyone's area of expertise and find the best path forward. With associations, it's a collaborative. And you may not always get what you want, but you can get as close as you need. And that comes from relationship building. People think that a mayor has this power that's ultimate. Council actually trumps me in many cases. The most important, though, is to remember, I don't know how many of you have ever said that I have 2 bosses, that's very difficult. In this case, I have 30,000 bosses. Try that one for a while. I always have an open door policy. On my business cards, it has my cell phone number. People can call me anytime they want. I always answer emails. You can message me on Facebook, although I don't always watch Facebook that closely, so that one might take a little extra time, but I've always made it to where I'm very available for the public at any time, and I don't ever run from anybody, so always feel free to come and see me anytime you want with any problem you might have.
finding good trades and good people who specialize in those skills are better than you. And I think it's important to accept that skill, accept that fact that someone is going to be better than you at certain things. And once you teach yourself how to find those traits in different people, that's when you can become good leader. In regards to experience and how I came to that conclusion, in 2016 I was elected as the treasurer for the College Republicans of Northern Nevada. And aside from maintaining our organization's budget, we were responsible for organizing the 2016 Republican campaigns for presidential nominees, including Donald Trump. This experience allowed me to work closely with all the candidates and gain valuable insight. In addition to that, I also served as a fundraising director for San Gio's Until Dawn program, contributing a significant amount of money by raising money for kids with cancer and cancer research. Those few leadership positions I had was where I learned that because I try to do a lot of things on my own. And through my own failures, I understood very rapidly that if you don't find people with the skills, you are not going to achieve that goal.
So I strongly believe in and follow the principles of servant leadership. This concept emphasizes that as a leader, my foremost duty is to assist others in achieving their goals and realizing their full potential, both as individuals and within groups. In my experience, servant leadership encourages individuals to work as a unified group with a common purpose. In my previous leadership roles, I've consistently encouraged my teams to step outside their comfort zones. I did this because it enables them to provide more value to our customers, which in turn contributes to the overall success of the entire team. I strongly believe that no single individual within a team or community should be considered more important or valuable than another. Success, whether in business or community planning, depends on each individual performing at their very best. Responsible leadership also entails making decisions based on sound evidence and empowering others to take on leadership roles as well. Should I have the privilege of leading our community as mayor, my focus would extend beyond serving the community. It would encompass nurturing emerging leaders and creating opportunities within Kuna. While I believe that it is valuable to take input from others, I also believe that it's important to recognize that leaders must possess a clear sense of direction for the groups that they lead. This often involves making challenging decisions and standing by them, all the while expecting to be held accountable in the process. When these decisions are made with ethical intentions, they are easier to understand from an outside perspective. I am committed to making these difficult decisions when they are in the best interest of the community, and I wholeheartedly welcome the transparency and accountability that are demanded of a person in a leadership position.
I'm going to recommend that the three candidates can stick around and answer individual questions, and we will move along and get the school board trustee candidates up here. All right, our school board candidates, we have three, right? We have Zone 1,